This ridiculously woke female quote unquote bishop confronted President Trump during a church service over migrants and the LGBTs. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about this ridiculously woke female bishop by the name of Marianne Budde. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce her last name, but she confronted President Trump, JD Vance, everybody who was sitting right there over migrants and the LGBTs, talking about some, oh, will you have mercy on them? Look, for real, lady, before we get into anything, he said he was going to build the wall and send them back on the campaign trail at multiple rallies and whatnot all over this country. And we, the people, voted him in overwhelmingly. Popular vote, electoral vote, all that. So what I would say is just let him fulfill his campaign promises. You know, simple as that. But look, before I get into it, I got two main questions. The first question, how do we have female bishops? Like, where do they do that at? Question number two, how did nobody see this ambush coming? This woman has been well known to the media for quite a long time. Now, before I go too far into it, let's check out a video from about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. Now, this woman oversees St. John's Episcopal in DC. Remember, they had the fire, quote unquote, Black Lives Matter, Antifa set the church on fire. And then Trump came out there with the Bible and whatnot. Remember that they criticized them, but they didn't criticize the people that set the church on fire to begin with. Okay. It's kind of weird how all they speak of is January 6th, but not the Antifa and BLM riots that happened in DC before that. It's like it got kind of Tiananmen Square out of our memory. Now, let's get into this right here, and you're going to see just how woke this lady is. Check it out.
We are upset about the fire as well, but that is not our primary focus. Our primary focus is the reason behind, the fundamental reasons behind the protests in our country right now. There is a deep desire for the fundamental issues at stake, brought to light by the murderous death of George Floyd and the countless others that we've witnessed in this long string of violence against Black and brown people.
As a Black and brown people, I want people like you and those of your ilk to just stop talking, for real. The white liberal people like you are the worst in this whole world.
That needs to be addressed in a systemic, fundamental way in the from every police department in the country and the vigilante civilian actions that are taken. The gospel of Jesus and the teachings of the scripture are antithetical to the messages that he is communicating and the way he is responding to people in this.
Now, it's weird when people like this say he, when they're talking about Trump, because they don't want to say his name, especially a bishop, because I've read your book. And in the book, what does it say quite a bit? It says he in place of Jesus. So you're placing this man on that kind of level. And that's why you guys have that TDS, because you wake up every day just thinking about how bad Trump is. That's like a central part of your life. I mean, you should just do something else with your time, but I digress.
In this moment, and that there is no spiritual mantle of authority for the actions that he had just moments before said that he would take.
Is there any way to begin to heal this breach that you're describing?
And again, this is from 2020, before Biden became president.
Well, you know, we see examples of people attempting that across the country. The police officials and officers who are moving into the crowds to speak to them, the people who are acknowledging pain and seeking to make fundamental change for the good of the nation, and in particular for the safety and dignity of Black and brown people in.
So you get the idea what's going on here. And by the way, this whole kneeling thing, hold on, let's go back. The police officers kneeling was probably the worst thing they could have done, because what does that say? That says, hey, you know what? I submit. I give up. I'm going to just release the streets to the criminals and the ne'er-do-wells and everybody else. That's what that said, whether they knew it or not. Now, we got a lot more to get into. We have to get to the confrontation. But first, a word from our sponsor. Online data brokers will sell your information to scammers, hackers, and anyone that wants to use that information against you. Now, this includes your full name, your email address, your home address, health records, even your family's information is all out there for sale. I mean, look at what they found about me. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers sell my information, and they automatically submit opt-out requests on my behalf. Now, To clean all that up, not only helps me reduce spam, but it protects me from hackers who may want to access my bank accounts, my social media accounts, or maybe even the inside of my home. Now, I learned that the hard way back when I got swatted. It's 2019, I'm streaming as normal, and before I know it, I have not one, not two, but 6 cops at my back door, guns drawn, and tell us, get outside, get on the ground. They go through the house, they come back very apologetic. I'm sorry, Mr. Logan, we got an anonymous tip that somebody was tied up and bleeding and we had to come check it out. Now, this was a false complaint, and I'm willing to bet whoever filed it got my address from an online data broker. You may be thinking, hey, ABL, I'm not a streamer, I'm not a YouTuber. How could this service protect me? Well, the reality is in 2025, everyone needs protection from online danger, including you. Aside from the very important data broker opt-out, Aura has identity theft protection, financial fraud protection, a password manager, an antivirus, and of course, a VPN, which allows you to access global content safely. All of what I mentioned is available with just one app at one good price. I value my privacy and I value yours. Visit aura.com/Anthony Logan through the link in the description to start your free 2-week trial today. And we're back. Let's get into this. You're going to see what's going on here. You're going to see the reactions, facial expressions, and everything else. And of course, both videos, if you want to see them here without my commentary, link as always will be in the box. If you're an IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives.
For their lives, like, what's going to happen? Like, Trump ain't say you're going to put you in the gulag, make you work till you pass out. Like, the media and the politicians in this country have scared their audience. They've scared their constituents so much that they just believe these crazy, ridiculous tales that they won't make it, that they won't live in the future. It's a mess.
And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation.
So fruit pickers and bet makers, right? Ain't that right? That's pretty much what that was. Hey, you're an immigrant, you're a fruit picker and a bet maker.
Are we a nation that tolerates the hypocrisy of a system where workers who pick our fruit and make our beds never have a chance to get right with the law?
But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here.
Let's talk about something for a minute, shall we? Because this whole thing about, oh, they're fleeing persecution and all this, that, and the third. Man, look, they're paying these smugglers to get them across the border, $5,000, $10,000 US dollars for each trip. And they hitting the border over and over and over again. Like, they're coming here to get money. Please believe. Oh, they're watering your crops. It go from that to I'm fleeing persecution. Which one is it?
Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people.
Why would you go to a church like this? Like, there's no way in the world that I would ever go to a church like this. A female, what is a woman going to teach me? To be totally honest, I love the women that watch this channel. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. But what can a woman actually teach a grown man? Seriously, I don't understand. We're talking about a class where she's a professor. Okay, cool. We're talking about some philosophical stuff. That's not where you should be.
Good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
All right, so we got some faces. Like, you were seeing the faces throughout the entire thing. Yeah, Trump did not like this too much. As a matter of fact, Trump responded.
Mr. President, what did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the
What did you think of the service?
What did you think? Did you like it? Did you find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I didn't think it was a good service, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
They could do much better.
Very good. Hey, you know what? It's good to have an actual adult, an actual real person, a person that's not just a like your Joe Biden ain't gonna answer no questions. No questions. Kamala, same thing. No questions. They don't answer nothing. If they do answer questions, it's like curated. It's like a whole big choreographed thing. It's not authentic. When I'm asking someone the question, I want them to give me a true answer straight away rather than having some pre-written stuff. It's like, what's the point in doing that? What's the point in that? What's the point in answering any question if you're not going to do it in a genuine fashion? Now, as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Trump, JD Vance, and everybody for just keeping their composure during that ridiculous ambush. And if you go to a church like that, I don't understand. Like, this is beyond religion. Like, that lady right there cannot tell you anything. If you're a man going to a church like that, please stop right now. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about the church service? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or that piece of it, at least? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. What do you think about Trump's response? What do you think about their, behavior during the service? As I close, for real, I want to say this. DC is so ridiculous. These people are so woke. These people I can't deal with. I just can't. And really nowadays it's less about race. It's more about that kind of division. Really it's good versus evil, but it's also these woke liberal people who don't know anything about the world. They're smart about how to generate revenue for themselves, how to do tasks, and how to get federal money in their pocket in Washington, D.C. They're smart about doing that, but they don't understand human beings. They don't understand humanity on a true level. And that is a big part of the problem. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.